You're tearing me apart, Sea-Roots! Okay, so now that I'm done venting, I think I owe you an explanation of what's going on right now. As you saw at the end of the last video, I completely fucked up on the path to one of the islands that I intended to go to, and I ended up in this place instead. Now this place is part of the last path that I intended to take before being done with this area. But that means there are still some islands down south that are not going to be explored for now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go all the way to the end of the final path that I intended to take, and afterwards I'm going to return to where I was trying to go to at the end of the last video. I'm sure you have a lot of trouble understanding what I mean. It's because I have my shut up! It's the Pokéfan on Route 110. Don't ask me why I know, but Pokéfans are especially irritating considering that they're just, oh my god, this Pokemon is so cute! And it's usually something like Pikachu or Plusle or Minun and stuff like that. So, okay, so as I was saying, you probably had a lot of trouble understanding what I was saying about going where I was supposed to go and stuff. That's because I have my map in front of me, and you don't. But don't worry, you're going to see exactly where I was supposed to go, what I was supposed to do in order to reach those islands that I was trying to go to. Remember in the last video, when I flew back to Pacifidlog, then made some headway on Route 132, fought a black belt, then flew right back to Pacifidlog? I should have continued past the black belt to get to that island that I was trying to go to, as well as some other islands that were further to the west, but as I said, you're going to see exactly what this means when I get there. For now, I'm just going to take care of the northernmost path for now. And if you remember, early on in my red LP, I was talking about places in Pokemon games that I didn't like, and the Rock Tunnel came at the top of my list because it was just long, boring, stretched on forever. It was too linear, and there were just trainers after trainers after trainers. There were no items in Red, Blue, and Yellow. They changed this in Fire Red and Leaf Green, I believe, but it was just a mandatory bore fest of Zubats and Geodudes that didn't want to end. Now, I completely forgot about this place right here when I talked about it. I hate it, but for very different reasons. See, the thing with it is that it's rather unique, and the concept is not bad. It's just that while the concept doesn't sound bad, in reality, if you want to get everything, get every item, fight every trainer, you need a minimum of 5 routes through this place, and that's if you don't fuck it up. I fucked it up pretty badly, so I'm going to need 6 instead of 5. I was intending on doing a flawless run just to show you exactly what you needed to do to get everything, but don't worry, we're still gonna get everything. It's just going to take 6 expeditions instead of 5. Now just watch. According to my map, this is a rather interesting area because you see there's this rock here that prevents the currents from pushing me, well, smashing me straight into the rocks because the game's physics don't allow that, because there's not really much of a physics engine, in fact. But this is a trick that you can use, and in fact it's the only way where you can get to this area and fight the 2 trainers that are there, and where you can pick up the item as well. But yeah, as I was saying, this area is something that sounds really cool in theory, but in practice, it's just really annoying. Remember, I think I mentioned Latheon Gorge in Tales of Symphonia back in my red LP? Well, that's sort of the same thing. You'd think it would be sort of a cool concept to travel using bubbles, but it's the way they pull it off, it's just really annoying if you want to get everything. And even if you don't want to get everything, you still have to try everything if you want to get to the top. and sometimes you're just going to mess up and end back at the beginning of the dungeon, so you gotta do it all over again, fight the same enemies over and over again, and it just drags on and on and on. And come to think of it, the water temple in Ocarina of Time works the same way. You'd think it would be a pretty cool concept in theory, but in practice it's probably the most hated dungeon in Zelda history. But that's okay. That's enough with that, because just talking about that kind of crap is making my blood boil right now. So anyway, I was talking in the last video about the duality between nature and technology in Black and White, and someone suggested for fun that N should be the antagonist in Black, and in White it should be the technology is incredible fat guy from the first town at every Pokemon game. And I admit I really got a chuckle out of this, because I didn't really think about it, but when you stop and think about it, yeah, there's the technology is incredible guy. And maybe it's gonna be technology is incredible in one version, and in the other version he's gonna say nature is amazing or something like that. Actually, I wouldn't put it past them to do something like that, because technology is incredible has really grown into sort of a catchphrase, and I don't think I have anything to do with it. It's just that it's in every freaking Pokemon game in existence. And that's not just me saying it, because in Ranger 2, Professor Hastings says that exact line as sort of a joke at some point. So, okay, according to the map, there's one more island here, and if there's nothing on it, I'm going to... Nope, there's nothing on it, so I'm going to fly back to Pacific Log, heal my guys, and I'm going to show you how to get to those islands that I was trying to get to before. And I feel really stupid for not figuring it out. I mean, I had the map. I drew lines on the map according to which routes I wanted to take, but I guess the lines were just a little... they were going the wrong way or something, because I completely messed it up. Okay, so now the first thing you're going to do is that we're going to not go north, we're going to go south to that island with the guy that had 1 Magikarp and 5 Gyarados. And then we're going to move on to the other island, you know, with the one with the 4 trainers, including the one who feels like someone is glaring at him, and it turns out to be some creepy old pedophile lady. And then the guy thought that it was me. Remember that one? Yeah, that's the island that I was talking about. So this is the first island, then I'm going to surf right into the second one, and then I'm going to take the current that's up north that leads me to the island where I fought the Black Belt, and then I immediately flew back to Pacific Log, but I had to continue because I have to take this current here, and there is the island that I was trying to get to. That was the one. And yeah, too happy to go with the flow there without direction. Come on, I used a map! Okay, so that's not what he was talking about. He wasn't saying they're without direction literally. He meant it figuratively, but still, it's a bit humiliating to have this old man tell me that after I failed to get to that island once, even with a map, because my line drawing skills are just not up to par. Another freaking Hariyama? How many of these have I fought in this area? This is the 3rd one, I believe. And this is a sea route to boot. 3 Hariyamas on a series of sea routes. I would have understood if I was fighting loads of Sea Kings and Staryus and stuff. But Hariyamas? That's a rather odd choice. But oh well, it's good experience, and its knockoff doesn't take away my item permanently, so I guess that's okay. So that's gonna be it for today, and tomorrow I'm starting another crazy week at work, so I guess I'm going to see you next time, whenever that is, and I actually have no idea.